What happens when a billionaire CEO's 29-year-old son assaults a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran in a restaurant parking lot, then strolls into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom backed by 8 elite corporate attorneys, forming a wall of pure legal intimidation? What happens next is a brutal lesson in reality. Because in this courtroom, some lawyer armies backfire. Some corporate funds are illegal to touch. And sometimes, a single phone call to the Securities and Exchange Commission can erase 40% of a company's stock value in one afternoon. But what makes this case truly devastating isn't just the assault on a decorated veteran, or the absurd display of legal muscle. It's what happened when Judge Caprio made one quiet decision that triggered a federal investigation, wiped out billions in shareholder value, and forced a billionaire CEO to resign in disgrace. It's a Thursday morning in Providence Municipal Court. The gallery hums with anticipation. Word has spread. Something unprecedented is about to unfold. Marcus Sterling, 29 years old, son of billionaire CEO Robert Sterling of Sterling Industries, stands accused of assault and battery on an elderly person. The incident occurred 5 nights earlier outside the Capitol Grill. The victim, James Martinez, age 71, is a decorated Vietnam veteran celebrating his 45th wedding anniversary with his wife. That evening, Marcus Sterling, intoxicated and belligerent, became involved in a heated argument with a valet over parking priority. When Mr. Martinez calmly suggested he settle down, Marcus responded with violence, shoving the elderly man into a parked car. Martinez fell hard, suffering a broken collarbone and extensive bruising. But what makes this morning extraordinary isn't just the charge. It's what walks through the courtroom doors. They swing open and Marcus Sterling enters. He doesn't come alone. Behind him, filling the aisle from wall to wall, are 8 attorneys. Not 1, not 2, 8. A corporate legal phalanx in tailored suits, carrying matching leather portfolios embossed in gold with the Sterling Industries logo. At the front is Christopher Blackwell, senior partner at Morrison & Blackwell, one of New York's most powerful corporate law firms. Behind him, 7 associates fan out, occupying an entire row of benches. The sight is jarring. This looks less like a criminal courtroom and more like a boardroom takeover. Audible gasps ripple through the gallery. Judge Frank Caprio watches silently, his expression measured, his experience unmistakable. He recognizes the tactic immediately. Legal intimidation. Marcus Sterling himself appears unfazed, impeccably dressed, designer watch, perfect hair. He carries the relaxed arrogance of someone who has never faced consequences, and never expected to. The bailiff calls the case. The State of Rhode Island versus Marcus Robert Sterling. Charge: assault and battery on an elderly person. Judge Caprio scans the file. Then he looks up directly at the sea of attorneys. "Mr. Sterling," he says evenly, "before we proceed, I need clarification. How many attorneys are representing you today?" Christopher Blackwell rises smoothly. "Your Honor, I'm Christopher Blackwell, lead counsel. With me are 7 associate attorneys from Morrison & Blackwell, including specialists relevant to this matter." Judge Caprio raises an eyebrow. 8 attorneys, he repeats, for a misdemeanor assault case. Blackwell nods. "Mr. Sterling's family has significant interests to protect. We believe in comprehensive representation." "I see," Caprio replies. "And who is paying for this representation?" Without hesitation, Blackwell answers, "Sterling Industries, Your Honor. The company maintains a legal defense fund for executive family members." The courtroom goes still. Judge Caprio's expression hardens just slightly. "Sterling Industries is a publicly traded corporation, correct?" "Yes, Your Honor. Listed on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker symbol ESTR. And this publicly traded company," Caprio continues carefully, "is funding 8 corporate attorneys to defend the CEO's son in a criminal assault case?" Blackwell shifts his weight. "It falls within the company's legal framework, Your Honor." Judge Caprio makes a note but says nothing more. For now. "Mr. Sterling," he says, turning back to the defendant, "how do you plead?" Marcus barely looks up. "Not guilty." "Very well," Caprio replies. Mr. Blackwell, you may proceed. Blackwell stands, and what follows is a polished, aggressive display of corporate power. Your Honor, he begins, we move to dismiss all charges based on insufficient evidence, improper police conduct, violations of my client's constitutional rights during arrest. And that's when everything starts to go wrong. For them. Judge Caprio raises his hand. Mr. Blackwell, he says calmly, we haven't even reviewed the evidence yet. You're filing motions to dismiss based on procedures you haven't seen. Before Blackwell can respond, another attorney rises. Your Honor, I'm David Chun, specialist in criminal procedure. I've reviewed the arrest records and identified 17 procedural. Judge Caprio cuts him off instantly. Mr. Chun, sit down. The room stiffens. Mr. Blackwell, Caprio continues, control your team. This is not a corporate boardroom. This is a courtroom. One attorney speaks at a time. A third lawyer half stands. Your Honor, if I may address the procedural. No, Caprio snaps. You may not. Sit down. The message is unmistakable. If you're not subscribed, hit that button now, because what happens next shows exactly what occurs when corporate legal intimidation collides with a judge who refuses to be bullied. Judge Caprio turns to the prosecution. Ms. Kim, please present the evidence. Assistant District Attorney Rachel Kim rises. Your Honor, 5 nights ago, at approximately 9:30 p.m. Mr. Sterling was at the Capitol Grill in downtown Providence. Security footage shows him arriving in a Lamborghini while visibly intoxicated. He immediately became aggressive with the valet over parking priority. Instantly, 2 of Marcus Sterling's attorneys jump to their feet. Objection, Your Honor. Sit down, Judge Caprio barks. Both of you. Ms. Kim has the floor. The attorneys comply, but the strategy is obvious. Object to everything, flood the courtroom with noise, and grind the process to a halt. Ms. Kim continues. Mr. James Martinez, a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran, was exiting the restaurant with his wife after celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary. He witnessed Mr. Sterling's behavior and calmly suggested that he settle down. She pauses. Mr. Sterling responded by shoving Mr. Martinez violently into a parked vehicle, causing him to fall and suffer a fractured collarbone. Another attorney rises. Your Honor, we dispute that characterization of. Sit down. Caprio cuts in sharply. Ms. Kim, continue. Your Honor, we have surveillance footage, multiple eyewitnesses, and Mr. Martinez's medical records. The evidence is unequivocal. Judge Caprio nods toward the clerk. Play the security footage. Immediately, 3 attorneys stand at once. Your Honor, we object to the chain of custody. Sit down, Caprio thunders. All of you, interrupt again, and I will hold every one of you in contempt. The courtroom goes dead silent. The footage begins to play. Marcus Sterling's Lamborghini pulls into view. He exits the vehicle unsteady on his feet, gesturing wildly at the valet. Moments later, James Martinez appears on screen, walking beside his wife. He approaches slowly, hands visible, posture calm, clearly attempting to de-escalate the situation. Marcus turns. He points. Then he shoves Mr. Martinez with both hands. The elderly man slams into a parked car and collapses to the pavement. There is no confusion, no missing angle, no ambiguity. When the video ends, Judge Caprio turns to the defendant. Mr. Sterling, he says evenly, that video shows you violently assaulting an elderly man. What do you have to say? Marcus shrugs. He got in my face. I defended myself. Judge Caprio's jaw tightens. The video shows Mr. Martinez standing several feet away, hands visible, posing no threat. You attacked him without provocation. Christopher Blackwell jumps to his feet, this time joined by 4 other attorneys, forming a wall of dark suits. Your Honor, we intend to present expert testimony that the camera angle is misleading, that Mr. Martinez was actually the aggressor. Judge Caprio rises from the bench. Enough, he roars. All of you, sit down. Now. They comply, but Marcus smirks. The intimidation strategy is working. The chaos is deliberate. Judge Caprio turns his attention to the victim. Mr. Martinez, he says gently, please tell the court what happened. James Martinez stands slowly. His arm is in a sling. Pain is etched across his face, but his voice is steady. Your Honor, he begins. My wife and I were celebrating our 45th anniversary. We were walking to our car when I saw this young man yelling at the valet. James Martinez gestures toward Marcus Sterling, recalling the moment vividly. He was screaming at the valet, calling him names, threatening him. Martinez says, I walked over and said, Sir, please calm down. There's no need for this. He looked at me and said, Mind your own business, old man. I replied, I'm just trying to help. That's when he shoved me. I fell against the car. I heard something crack in my shoulder. The pain was immediate. Judge Caprio leans forward, his tone gentle but probing. Mr. Martinez, how has this injury affected you? Martinez swallows, his voice steady. Your Honor, I'm 71 years old. I served in Vietnam. I worked as a mechanic for 40 years. This broken collarbone means I can't work on cars anymore. It was my retirement hobby. I can't lift my grandson. My wife has to help me dress because I can't raise my arm. The courtroom falls silent until Marcus Sterling yawns audibly. Judge Caprio's eyes flash with anger. Mr. Sterling, did you just yawn while Mr. Martinez was describing his injuries? Marcus shrugs casually. I mean, it's unfortunate, but accidents happen. My dad will write him a check. Problem solved. The gallery erupts in outrage. Judge Caprio slams his gavel. Order. Mr. Sterling, this was not an accident. You deliberately assaulted him. Christopher Blackwell rises immediately, and this time, all 8 attorneys stand in perfect unison, a rehearsed display of corporate intimidation. Blackwell's voice is smooth, almost rehearsed. Your Honor, my client is offering to make Mr. Martinez whole financially. Sterling Industries is prepared to provide a substantial settlement. Judge Caprio's face hardens into a mask of controlled fury. Mr. Blackwell, are you seriously attempting to buy your way out of criminal charges in my courtroom? We are simply offering a practical resolution, Blackwell replies smoothly. Sit down. All of you. Now. The attorneys comply, but the damage is done. The courtroom has become a circus of suits and arrogance. Judge Caprio rises slowly, scanning the 8 attorneys, then Marcus, then Blackwell. His voice sharpens. Mr. Blackwell, you stated in open court that Sterling Industries, a publicly traded company, is paying for all 8 of these attorneys to defend Mr. Sterling in a criminal case. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor, Blackwell admits. It is within the company's legal framework. And Sterling Industries, Caprio continues, is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. That means thousands of shareholders own pieces of this company. Yes, Your Honor. And you are using shareholder funds to defend the CEO's son for drunkenly assaulting a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran over a parking space? Blackwell shifts uncomfortably. Your Honor, the company has broad discretion. Judge Caprio holds up his hand, cutting him off. He picks up the phone. Clerk, get the SEC Enforcement Division on the line. Now. Marcus straightens in his seat for the first time. Wait, what? Blackwell pales. Your Honor, I don't think that. You just admitted in open court that a publicly traded company is using shareholder funds to defend the CEO's son in a criminal case. I think the SEC will want to know about this. Whispering erupts among the 8 attorneys. Marcus looks panicked. Minutes later, the courtroom speakerphone clicks on. A professional female voice comes through. This is Director Patricia Morgan, SEC Enforcement Division. Am I speaking with Judge Frank Caprio? Yes, Director Morgan. Thank you for taking my call. I have you on speakerphone in Providence Municipal Court. How can I help you, Your Honor? Director Morgan continues, her tone sharp and precise. I'm hearing about a criminal assault case involving Marcus Sterling, son of Robert Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, a publicly traded company in New York. I understand he is represented by 8 corporate attorneys, and his lead counsel just admitted that Sterling Industries is paying for all of their fees as part of a legal defense fund for executive family members, using shareholder money to defend a CEO's son for drunkenly assaulting a 71-year-old veteran in a restaurant parking lot. The courtroom goes utterly silent. Marcus swallows. Blackwell's face drains of color, and Judge Caprio remains calm, letting the weight of the moment settle. There is a long, tense pause. Then Director Patricia Morgan's voice cuts through the silence, sharp and precise. Your Honor, let me be clear. A publicly traded company is using shareholder funds to pay for the criminal defense of the CEO's son in a personal assault case. That is what was stated in my courtroom. Yes, Your Honor, comes the reply, small and uneasy. Director Morgan's voice hardens. That is potentially securities fraud. Misuse of corporate assets for the personal benefit of an executive family member. If Sterling Industries is using shareholder money, funds meant for legitimate business purposes, to pay for the CEO's son's personal legal defense, this is a violation of fiduciary duty and could constitute criminal misappropriation. Marcus Sterling pales. He looks as if he might be sick. The 8 attorneys are in full panic mode, furiously typing on their phones, whispering to each other. Your Honor, Director Morgan continues, I am opening an immediate investigation into Sterling Industries' use of corporate funds. Subpoenas will be issued for all financial records related to this legal defense fund. Shareholders will be notified through official channels that their investments may have been misused. Judge Caprio leans in. What happens next, Director Morgan? When the market opens tomorrow and shareholders learn that company funds were used for the CEO's son's criminal defense, Sterling Industries stock will face immediate and severe pressure. Morgan replies, we are freezing the company's legal defense fund pending investigation. Robert Sterling, as CEO, will face personal liability for misuse of corporate assets. Anything else, Director Morgan? Caprio asks. Yes, Your Honor. We are coordinating with the FBI's white-collar crime division. If we find criminal intent in the misuse of shareholder funds, federal charges will be filed. The call ends. The courtroom is utterly silent. Caprio's gaze sweeps over the 8 attorneys. Gentlemen, I assume Sterling Industries will no longer be funding your representation of Mr. Sterling. Christopher Blackwell rises, his confidence shattered. Your Honor, we need to consult with our client and with Sterling Industries corporate counsel regarding our continued representation. Judge Caprio fixes his eyes on Marcus Sterling. I thought you might. Mr. Sterling, you assaulted a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran. You showed no remorse. You yawned during his testimony. And your father's company used shareholder money to pay 8 lawyers to intimidate this court. Here is your sentence. The courtroom holds its breath as Caprio delivers the verdict. 6 months in county jail for assault and battery on an elderly person, 3 years probation, 400 hours of community service at veteran organizations, mandatory anger management, full restitution to Mr. Martinez for all medical expenses and rehabilitation costs. A formal, written apology to be read aloud in this courtroom. Marcus is stunned into silence. Within 2 hours, the story explodes. The SEC launches its investigation. Sterling Industries stock opens at $147 and plummets to $88 by market close. A 40% drop, erasing billions in shareholder value. The SEC issues a statement. Sterling Industries used corporate funds to pay for the CEO's son's criminal defense. Investigation ongoing. Shareholders advised. That evening, Robert Sterling holds an emergency press conference. Visibly shaken, he confesses, I authorized the use of company legal resources for my son's case. I believed it was within my authority as CEO. I was wrong. I've destroyed shareholder value, violated their trust, and abused my position. I am resigning as CEO effective immediately and selling my shares to reimburse the company for all legal fees paid. Marcus serves his 6 months. When he is released, he is a changed man. He meets James Martinez and bows his head. Mr. Martinez, I assaulted you over a parking space. I yawned during your testimony. I used my father's company to pay 8 lawyers to intimidate this court. I destroyed my father's career and billions in shareholder value. I am truly sorry. James extends his hand. I forgive you. Caprio's courtroom, and the world, watches as entitlement crumbles. Marcus, 29 years old, once untouchable, learns the hard truth. Money cannot buy respect. Only actions can. If this story moved you, subscribe for more moments where Judge Caprio proves that no amount of lawyers, corporate intimidation, or billionaire privilege places anyone above the law. This is the legacy of Judge Frank Caprio, the integrity of Director Patricia Morgan, the grace of James Martinez. Justice served. Stock crashed. Intimidation failed. Accountability restored.